splash it, call me Clay. And the shit that I say just wasn't some lame name playing. I'd have to give that thing my heart and soul wrapped in a ring. We live forevermore until the end of eternity. But I lose all the things that made me be a young king. Yeah, I mean, we just going through the main ones for sure. I know it's getting kind of late, but Deuteronomy 3:32, it says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand." I mean, brothers, if you read that, "Thy son and thy daughter shall be given unto another people." Now, you got to really think about that. What parent would give their children to someone else? Nobody. They were taken away. You know, obviously, you brothers understand this through the slavery, through the the captivities of not only just the Africans, the Europeans. You know, we were brought over through slave ships and shit like that. You got to understand that. You know, a lot of our children were taken away from us. You know what I'm saying? Especially when slavery was like heavy in like the 1800s. You know, late 1800s. So. You know, that's the case. But even in modern times, because what do we say about child support, about custody? Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and you and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. This could also be applied to the government, because at the end of the day, your kids are just property of the government, and you get to keep them temporarily. Think about it. Child protective services. Think about it. The system. You niggas go to jail. Your kids are not yours anymore. You know what I'm saying? So the system is designed to take your kids, and you can still look on them and wish that you could be with them. Think about a brother who just got married and he lost possession of his kids to the system. This nigga can't even see his kids. He got to FaceTime his kid. He can't see his kid in person. That's what this is in reference to, but it happens. The same thing will happen over different time frames.
And the thing about that too, you know, read the scripture, man. One of the first things that pop into my mind is slavery, man. It just goes to show that was a future prophecy, man. Like, you know, we're given unto other people. You know, we're the selling of the people. You know, selling of slaves. You know, they will raise a certain man up just to be sold, because he has certain physical characteristics that were comely to the slave owner. You know, also another thing is ICE, man, the immigration services. I forgot what that term, that the acronym
where they can take away the kids for the immigration. Exactly. Yeah. Citizens. So yeah, that goes back to the Native Americans and the Hispanics as well.
Exactly, man. And since you brought up slavery, I had to dig up one of the books I have. It's called The Jews and Moors in Spain. I'm gonna just read a quick excerpt. This is during the time where they basically forced our people out of Spain. And we settled in the west coast of Africa as well as other places as well. All Jewish children below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the church, baptized. Those under 3 years of age were given to Christians to receive a Christian education, or in other words, to be raised as slaves. Those between 3 and 10 years of age were put on board of a ship and conveyed to the newly discovered unwholesome island of St. Thomas called Ilhas Perdidas, or the Isle of Perdition. And this St. Thomas is right off the coast of the west coast, around like near the countries like Liberia, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, etc. And then I'll just read one more excerpt. Thousands after enduring all they did, after leaving their beloved Spain and all their wealth and ease, submitted to baptism now in the hope of being reunited with their children. Thousands were sold as slaves, yet prior to being sold, they were submitted to tortures, cruelties, outrages too revolting, too repulsive, too heart-rending to be narrated. And this was in Spain. So this just lets you know that our people endured, like, they always talk about in history the west coast of Africa and slavery. They don't mention all the other countries our people were in where they had to endure these kind of things. Because they separated the understanding that we are the people of the book. So if you were to read this from a non-historical lens and not understand, you would think the quote-unquote these are the Ashkenazi Jews they were talking about, even if you know basics history, the Ashkenazi Jews lived in Eastern Europe, not in Spain. But yeah, this ain't a history lesson. I just wanted to bring that point out.
But I was gonna say, they sent them to the west coast of Africa because those lands were kind of barren, right?
No. People, can you hear me still?
You kind of got like an echo.
Okay, can you hear me still?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
Okay, no. People were still in that land. In fact, some of the Israelites were already in that land. They just sent them to the island of St. Thomas because that was an island that was not inhabited. But from there, I believe many of the people end up settling in the mainland and mixing with a lot of the indigenous tribes as well as the tribes of Judah that were there already from when they had to flee during the destruction of Jerusalem back in 70 AD.
Okay.
So there's a lot of nuance to it, but like our people were already in that west coast region.
Yeah.
Any of your brothers add anything to that or no?
No, I think we can go to the next verse.
Yeah, I'll read the next one. It's not super important, but you know, all this is important, but you know, it's not like the main thing. But verse 33, 28 and 33, it says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So it just quick touch on it. It says the fruit of thy land and the labor shall a nation which you will not know will eat up, and thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed away. So obviously this can be many captivities, but we're doing the captivities that mostly brothers have learned through history class. If you think about the natives, if you think about again the Africans, when the Edomite came, he came from the Caucasus Mountains. So not too many of our people really knew of him. And then also think Central America, think about the indigenous people. So when they came and they conquered, they did not know who the Edomites or the white man was. They came like aliens. They're like, who the fuck are you? And then they came and they conquered and they destroyed them. You see what I'm saying? So you got to put the narrative of history and you got to tie it into what the scripture says through Deuteronomy. But getting on to the next one, 34, it says, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. But also, I forgot to say in verse 32, if you read at the bottom, after it says the son and daughter will be given unto another people, and there shall be no might in thy hand, you can also tie that into the court system. When they rule that your kids are taken away, there's nothing you can fucking do unless the system is destroyed. So
exactly, and that also lets you know who the actual Israelites or the Jews were, because then we're not supposed to have might or power in our hands.
Cause Lucy was amazed that I saw she only a face. Didn't have another way that I go follow full of play. And that's what led me to the man that I became today. Man, I remember Lucy like it was just yesterday.